Welcome everyone back to the Crimson 15 podcast. I'm your host, Crimson Sen.
15 PCA.
810-454.
Be sure to check us out over on Twitter at C15 Podcast. Join the discussion over on Discord, link in the description below. And if you're enjoying the videos, be sure to sub, like, share, and hit that bell for notifications. The Legend of Lara Croft Tomb Raider, Episode 3. I do mini reviews over on TikTok, here on YouTube Shorts as well. Check out that if you want just a quick review. If not, stick around. Long format review. Go from literally the whole entire episode scene for scene. So we pick up right where we left off, and it's so we got this big event where it's like all the weather is going crazy, and I was kind of remembering, I haven't played the games in a long time, but didn't they do this in the third Tomb Raider game? The when I say the third one, I mean the new games that came out. They're like the remakes, and yeah, this already was a thing. So is this not a? Did those games not happen? I'm assuming they happened, but then they're kind of just repeating themselves where like all this like environmental stuff is happening, you know, typhoons, earthquakes, all that kind of stuff. So this big giant, like this whole river just swells into like a tsunami, which I don't even know if that's possible. Like it would have to be like a tsunami like on epic scale to cause this kind of damage. But it straight up knocks the boat over. Her and Jonah are totally screwed. She's going underwater, she's slamming around and things, and the fact that she lives through any of this is like kind of ridiculous. She does like a bunch of parkour to like escape the river, but I'm thinking Jonah's dead. There's no way, he can't do half the things Lara can do, and she barely lived. And then she's also using that little magnet hook thing that she just got 32 milliseconds ago. It's like when you unlock an item in a video game, and now you can go to like a area that you couldn't go to before, like in most like Metrovania type video games, where like, oh, you got this new grapple hook ability, now you can reach that door that you couldn't reach before. It's just like that. And she literally uses it right after she gets it. But how does she get it to deactivate? Like, it's just a magnet, right? So she throws it, it sticks to something. But then how does she get it to pull back? Because if it's strong enough to take her whole body weight, like swinging around and doing all kinds of crazy stuff, how does she get it to like not detach itself? Like it doesn't have any electronics or anything. So she's getting all beat up and everything. And then she's like, oh my God, Jonah, where is he? Finds Jonah's like stuff. So she just assumes he's dead. I mean, why wouldn't he be dead? The bad guy shows up. And he's like, Lara, give me the stone. And she has the box, so he's assuming she has the box. She punches him in the face with it. This is where, if Lara just had a gun, she could just shoot this guy. Why doesn't she have her guns? Or anything, a knife, or hit him with your little ice pick thingy. Just kill this guy. There is no reason to leave this man alive. None whatsoever. Now that you know about this thing, like it's probably, even at this part of the story, she saw like this Chinese ghost lady, and how whoever had these stones before was like this evil tyrant person. Just kill the guy, because we see later in the episode, she doesn't really care about killing people, even without like, well, when we get to it, we'll talk about it. We go to the Saints Row basketball court. It's like straight up purple. I love it. Just has that Saints Row vibe. She's talking to Zip. I think that's his name, Zip. And she's like, Zip, I need to talk to you. And of course, Zip's mad at her. He's like, hey, Lara, it's been days and days and days. You don't answer. Where the hell's Jonah? And she's like, Jonah died. And Zip's like, oh, crap. Just come home. Just forget all this. Just come home. We need you home. But she's like, no. You need to send me this. Send me this item. Send it to the Beijing thing. I'll pick it up. I have to finish what I started. She's like, Lara, don't do this. Hangs up on him. The guy delivers it himself, because that's what a good friend would do. He wouldn't just like send a courier or whatever. He literally flew to China, and he's going to help his friend. He's like, hey, you know, it's okay to be sad about this. If Jonah died, he was my friend. He was your friend. He was all our friend. And it's killing me, because Jonah was a nice guy. Jonah would talk to you. When Jonah would have a conversation with me, it felt like his whole world and that moment was just to listen to me. And I'm going to miss that. No one else could do it like the way he did it. And you can see how sad it's making him. And it's making Lara sad too. But she's like, I'm too tough to be sad. and whatever. So they go into this place, and I guess it's a secret, like, laboratory science place where they like restore artifacts. Then they give them back to the people that were going to steal them and throw them in the trash anyways. This is a whole like thing where people are like, people stole these artifacts. Yeah, they're in museums now. The British Museum is, thank God for the British Museum, because if it wasn't there, these items would have been lost forever. No one would have been able to ever see them. People were acting like these civilizations were under good stewardship and these items were being protected. No, they weren't. There's so many videos of people destroying ancient artifacts because it's against whatever their current political / religion / whatever reasons. And it's heartbreaking. Thank God for the British Museum. So this place finds these things and then brings them back to the people, and they even make a thing like, who would steal artifacts? And then Laura's like, oh geez, it might have been me. So she's like an apologist for saving things. We see this lady. I don't know if she's from the games, but obviously there's a history between Laura and this lady. And Laura's like, hey, check this out. It's like some dagger for some things. Like, I'm bringing it back. But she was using it as like a bartering tool of like learning about these stones. She's like, I need to know more about this. And the lady's like, this is all fake. It's all just a creation myth. But all the other games happened. So she's already seen all kinds of crazy stuff. We're talking like, there's been goddesses and spirits and aliens and all kinds of stuff. And then she's going to just dismiss this thing. So the story is, there was a bunch of evil in the world and they was throwing the balance off. So then this spirit lady, the one that helped her in the last episode, concentrated all these evil qualities, like ones like greed and anger, and so I don't know, I don't know what they are. I already forgot what they were, but there's 4 of them, and concentrated them to like lock them away, and it balanced the world. But then if you get a hold of these stones, then you get like the concentrated power, like the red ones, like wrath or something. So when you have it, it makes you super wrathful. And which I think is kind of weird because people are awful with or without these stones. So Laura's like, okay, we have to find where this other one was, because they found that like a dagger from like the Middle East, like did we say Bangladesh? I think that might have been it. I could be completely wrong. Then they're gonna go there and go check it out. Of course, they go to like a cat cafe because that's a thing, and it's just like, it's supposed to be funny. I don't know. Laura down on her knees like this. She finds out like some background stories. He Zip's looking things up, and he's like, oh, there was like this very violent guy, and he like killed his whole family, but he said his wife made him do it. And there's like, you see pictures of the lady wearing like the amulet. It's like that red ruby thing. And so this lady's like a warlord. She's like a mobster, mega warlord lady, and they're gonna go case the joint because she's gonna go steal it. So she's like posing as a tourist, but the Zip has to make a map of the area just by flying a drone over there. You'd think they would have had countermeasures. If you're like a warlord, you would have like all kinds of countermeasures, but apparently they don't. Laura decides to have a cup of coffee, and this guy like knows where Laura is at all times. He's like, oh, Miss Croft, may I have a seat with you? So they're having a conversation, and then they're trying to create a sympathetic bad guy, because every bad guy has to be sympathetic in some way. I guess I remember in the games, the Trinity Corporation, they were like bad guys that would steal things, and they killed Laura's dad. But I guess there's this other group called like the Something of Light. I don't guess they're bad guys too. I don't remember them at all. But they killed this guy's father. So he was like, me and you, Laura, we're like the same. And these people have all this power. If we get these stones, we'll have enough power to just get rid of all these people. But at the same time, it turns into a freaking monster. And this guy's like, I don't care if it makes me into a monster. I'll be able to get my revenge against these people, so this doesn't happen to anybody. Isn't that what you want? You want other young women and young girls and young boys to grow up with their fathers? And if we can stop that, we can he never says let's work together, but pretty much is saying that. She like throws coffee in his face. I thought it was like hot coffee, and I would have burned him, which would have been hilarious. But he's like, whatever, Laura, just stay out of my way. Again, just can kill this guy. Laura gets in her stealth mode, which is pretty cool. The green eyes, the green and red eyes, is that for us in the audience, or do people see that? Like in the actual show, If someone sees someone who's mind controlled, do they see glowing green eyes like they're freaking Sam Fisher? In the comments below, I think it's just for the audience. Which I think is, I think it treats the audience like idiots. Like, you have to be like, this person's on brain control, so they're against their will. We can just infer that. We can figure that out. Like, I don't like being told the story so, overtly, like, that's a mind control person. So Laura's going to break into this place, and she has like, what is that perk in Call of Duty, we don't make footsteps? Like, she's got silent feet. So she's like jumping around doing all this stuff, but they don't hear that. Put on a pair of boots and run across stone, because she like does this little wall run thing. You would hear, you would hear it. How is she not making any noise? No one in the history of the universe could pull this off unless they were wearing like just socks or something. But even then, just the weight of your body, it would make noise, especially in a quiet area. I don't know. No, people who've never done any type of like security work, you hear things, especially when there's not supposed to be noises. You hear things. But they make her mess up. Like, she hits a footfall wrong, and then she has to like swing back around and do it again. Like, I don't know. Like, it was just like a waste of time. We've already shown Lara do all kinds of amazing things, like superhuman almost, but they make her do this weird little slip up, but nothing happens. Like, she doesn't get caught. She doesn't raise a guard or anything. She just doesn't do it. It's like, it was just a waste of time. She gets in there, does this impossible jump across this thing to get to this landing, makes no noise. None whatsoever. She has footfall like you wouldn't believe. She's looking for the thing. She sees this safe, and she just pops it open with her little rock climbing axe thing. What, this lady's a warlord? You think it's just prying it open with basically a crowbar? They should have gave her some type of like, to solve this, but she should have had some type of like freezing agent that froze the lock and just shatters the lock. Something more gadgety, not just, let me just use all 105 pounds of me to break this safe open, whatever. It's not in there because she's not there to steal, stuff. She's there to get that jewel. We see the lady walk in. She's talking to her advisor, and she sees that it's on a sword, and the lady carries it like on her hip. So she's like, oh man, I'm going to have to get this thing off of her. I would have waited for her to go to sleep. Just like hide in her room, wait for her to go to sleep and just grab it and get out of there. But like, Laura's like on this weird time crunch for like no reason. We see that this dude has, the lady has like tigers and stuff. So Laura's like, oh, I'll release the tigers. And instead of it being like, oh no, the tigers are loose, save them, these tigers are like eating people. So Lara has no problem with murdering people. What if this guy was just working for this lady? He's not even a bad guy. He's just someone who has to have a job, and he's just trying to like provide for his family. Just got mauled to death by a tiger. So Lara can steal jewel. The morals here, Lara, I don't know. They're pretty bad. So they're like eating people. She's freaking out, but then Lara, and like her infinite silliness, explain this to me. She throws her little magnetic thingy to get the sword. It hits the sword. She's able to pull it off the lady's body, and she didn't realize it. How perfectly would you have to throw this thing to land it on the sword with enough oomph to attach itself, but not enough oomph for this lady to feel that it happened? You know what I'm saying? So Lara gets it. It's mine. She's running around with it, but just holding the sword turns you into like a wrathful like monster lady. So Lara goes into full-blown kill mode, and it's just killing people. Like, killing them. Like, there's no like, oh, she knocked him out. No, she's killing the hell out of these people. They are trying to shoot her, but she straight up uses a guy as a human shield, and he get like, you remember that part in Wolverine and Deadpool? It's just like that. This guy gets all shot up, and she even like jumps on this dude's head. And like, if you gotta go a certain way, that's not a bad way to go. So she's just killing the hell out of everybody, but then she kind of like sees all the blood on her hands, and then she's like, oh no, what am I doing? Sees her own reflection, and then she throws the sword down like, this is turning me into a monster. And the guy's like, oh, help me. And she straight up tells him it's going to be okay. I looked up at him and, bitch, you're the one who tried to kill me. You're the one who did this to me. And he just dies in her arms, and then she feels bad about it, as she should, because none of that was necessary. Like, she could have just kept running. She wanted to kill people. I would have loved it if they would have been like, oh, this jewel doesn't actually do that. There's just Laura giving herself an excuse to murder people. The other lady shows up. She like breaks the jewel out of the sword and just has the jewel just in her hand. But by doing that, it broke the spell on the other lady. Like, why would it do that? Like, I thought just removing the sword from her would have done that. But I guess breaking the sword, she's like, oh, she just kind of gets out of her own like wrathful like ways, and then all the guards show up, and she's like, just let her go. But she's like, that thing's cursed. It's gonna kill you. You don't want that. Laura gets out, starts to head home. The home's been ransacked because this guy knows everything. He knows where Laura is. He's the guy. He got Santa Claus power. He knows when she's awake and she knows when she's sleeping. He knows where she's at all times. We see Jonah, but he's all mind controlled. And gives Laura the old El Kabong and hits her over the head with the guitar. Knocks her on the ground. He steals the jewel, then like combines them, and then it makes a big explosion. End of the episode. I'm like, what the hell? he cast fireball and he didn't care how small the room was. So yeah, this guy's gonna just follow Laura around and steal all these stones from her. Like let her steal them, then he's gonna steal them from her. If this happens more than one more time, this is gonna be the stupidest plot device of all time. How about you find these things and you destroy them, Laura? Or lock them in some kind of thing and put them in a rocket and shoot that in outer space. Or tie it to fill it in a safe with cement and drop it in the ocean. Let it go to the bottom of the ocean. Whatever. It just, a lot of weirdness. Again, the animation's great. Laura's hot. This bad guy, I don't like the idea of trying to make a bad guy into a good guy. How about he wanted these stones because he's just a bad guy and wants to rule the world? Why did you have to avenge what happened to my father and I grew up on the streets and I'm a sad man? Screw all that. How about I just want these things because I know how to make the world better and I'm going to do it by force. Just make him a straight up bad guy, but whatever. It's okay. Again, 5 out of 10. I think every episode is going to be a 5 out of 10. It just has that feeling to it where there's nothing super horribly wrong, but there's nothing amazing either. But thanks for watching, guys. Comments, do all that fun stuff, share it around. I'm trying to get more videos out. I did a bunch last week. I'm gonna try to do a bunch more this week, but keep watching, guys, and catch you on the next one. Crimson's in here. Thanks for watching the video. Remember, liking, subscribing, sharing, and commenting on the video really helps out a lot. It gets the video spread around more people get to see the videos, and we get to make more videos for you guys. So thank you, and we appreciate every single one of you guys.